Sort of. The annual preseason Hall of Fame game tonight at 8 Eastern. The game featuring the Jets, the new-look Jets. How much of the Jets are the new-look Jets? Is it just because it's Aaron Rodgers that they're the new-look Jets? Maybe a couple of receivers, Alan Lazard. That doesn't make you the new-look. Nathaniel Hackett, that's what it is. The new-look New York Jets against the Cleveland Browns. Backup quarterbacks, come on down, Zach Wilson. That's why I'm tuning in. I want to see him, and I want to see my guy out of UCLA, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DTR. And then he'll be playing in the second half. Yes, Mark?
And also, this will be a part of the first episode of Hard Knocks.
Okay.
So you kind of see, all right, who's the backup, linebacker? Okay, and they're focusing on him on the first episode.
But I wonder with Zach Wilson, are you auditioning now for other teams? Now that you hear that Aaron Rodgers wants to be there for a few years, now you're going to basically spend your rookie contract behind Aaron Rodgers. Are you going to wait 3 years for Aaron Rodgers? You're going to try to showcase your talents here in the preseason, let people see who you are, you've changed. Maybe Hard Knocks, that you see a different Zach Wilson, certainly humbled and learning from Aaron Rodgers. But I wonder, how does Zach Wilson get out of New York? Does he want to get out of New York? Who would be interested in him? The contract, you'd be interested, but how good is he? I don't think we know. I think we saw him play. He was very sporadic, lost his job. And, all of a sudden they bring in Aaron Rodgers. They couldn't wait to bring in. They were bringing in somebody. If it was going to be, another quarterback, they were going to bring in somebody. Yeah, Paul.
Yeah, Zach Wilson, the Jets, has 2 years left on his contract. I'm assuming they're not going to pick up his fifth-year option. That pay a whole bunch of money. No. But let's say Rodgers stayed for 2 years. Zach Wilson would be a true free agent at the end of when Rodgers leaves, which could be, what if they like him? It's not like Jordan Love. It's a little apples and oranges to Jordan Love, but what if they like him a little bit to keep him? It's a very
but I don't know how much you could like him after what you saw last year. He was kind of petulant when, he didn't take any blame for something, and he just acted, snotty, where you go, dude, you're going to get humbled. I don't care how good you are, you get humbled in the NFL at some point, and he certainly did. Now it's that learning process of, let me absorb this, and can he actually play in the NFL? Just because he got taken second overall doesn't mean he can play. He might have characteristics where you go, all right, with some help, he could be...
Aaron Rodgers only stays 2 years. Zach Wilson will be 26.
Yeah.
That's a year older than Aaron Rodgers was when he took over the Packers.
But the amount of money you have to pay Zach Wilson when he'll be in his, fifth-year option?
He won't get it.
Yeah. And then what are you going to do? You're going to have to pay him. And it's almost like Jordan Love. You got to see something pretty soon before you go, okay, that's our future, or nope, abort. 877-3DP-SHOW, email address dp@danpatrick.com, Twitter handle @DP-SHOW. Peter Schrager, NFL Network, Good Morning Football co-host. He paid a visit to Aaron Rodgers, and we'll talk to him about that conversation. By the way, I didn't mention this at the time. I think if you listen to the show or watch the show or both, I'm a big fan of Taylor Swift. And Taylor Swift was in Kansas City recently. Travis Kelce went to the show, and he shot a shot. He was giving Taylor Swift a bracelet and with his number on it. And it didn't work out. But then I got people who have said, that I've seen social media-wise, they go, well, you're Taylor Swift. What are you doing with Travis Kelce? I go, well, hold on here. Who is this Joe guy that she dated for years? He's an actor, but not famous. The lead singer from the 1975, whatever his name is. All right.
How many touchdown passes he can?
Yeah. How many times has he hosted Saturday Night Live? So I'm thinking, all right, Travis Kelce, he's 33. She's probably, 31? I don't know. I don't blame him. Give it a shot. All right, so, he got swatted away, Matumbo'd. Yeah. Oh, look at this. They're both 33. Yeah. Yeah, Paul.
Do you think she's like I don't know much
Awesome.
about her. Yeah, she seems pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Do you think her life is too complex for dating?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she's a level of famous. Like Travis Kelce's American famous.
Yes.
She's global in every sense of it.
Yeah. It'd be tough. You know, because you're a brand, you're a thing. You know, and then you're just on, you know, holding on for dear life. Anybody who's with her is always going to be, you know, the second most famous person in the you know, the relationship. Yes, Tom.
And the subject of the next big hit single.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that could rhyme with Kelsey.
Right?
I mean, if she's
Jealousy. Jealous. You can make it work. She can make it work.
yes,
Kelsey.
yeah. But I would go into it if I'm Travis Kelce and be like, all right, this may end up bad, but she's going to write some music about me. I'm okay with that. But this is where if maybe he strategized a little bit, and you get Patrick Mahomes and his wife, and then you say, how about a double date in Kansas City? How about some barbecue? Yes, he.
You know, the thing with somebody like Taylor Swift too is that not only do you have to win her over, you have to win over her entire fan base as well. They
Yeah.
have to approve of the relationship, because if they don't, they're going to be like, well, you can't be with this loser. Social media is going to blow up, and all of a sudden there's going to be all this pressure, and then it's like, oh, well, they're not dating anymore.
Yeah.
Because the Swifties didn't approve.
Yeah, they didn't approve of this last guy.
They sure didn't.
Yeah.
Sure did not.
Who was that?
Matt Healy. I think his name is.
From the 1975?
Yeah.
Is that the name of the band?
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't approve of him.
Yeah, that was short-lived.
Yes,
That
yes,
romance.
yes, it was. But yeah, you got to get through. You know, that's a fortress. You know that you got to get through the steel curtain there, and the Swifties, they're going to hurt you. Yes, Tom.
It's tough enough to get your parents to approve of who you may want to marry or date. About to having millions of people that dress up like it's Halloween, standing in the pouring rain blocks away from the stadium.
Oh, yeah, yeah, he got no shot. But he took it, and I give him a lot of credit, because as somebody who was in high school and college was really shy, and I'd never take a shot like that. But here's Kelsey's like, and he's got swag. You know, you host Saturday Night Live, win a couple Super Bowls. You know, you're semi-famous, or maybe just famous here in the United States. Yes.
Do you think she does interviews and says the old, nobody ever asked me out. Nobody ever walked up and asked me out.
I hated that.
Right.
I hated that.
I guarantee she's going to go on Fallon and go, you know what? I haven't been on a date in 2 years because nobody will ask me out.
Nobody will ask me. I remember there was this gorgeous woman, and she was asked that. Like, you got a boyfriend? She goes, no one ever asked me out. And I go, now I can ask her out. So I asked her out. She said no.
It's not that no one ever asked her out, it's that no one that she wants to ask her out ever asked her out.
Nobody. I know, but maybe I missed it where she said no one I like ever asked me out. It was no one ever asked me out. She was a cheerleader in college, and I went, are you kidding me? No one ever asked her out?
I'm proud of you, though. You got to take that shot when you have that open.
No, but it crushed me.
Yeah.
Like, that set me back a year. Like, that did. It crushed me.
You were without...
Yes.
You didn't date for the next year?
I was Han Solo.
Good for you. You tried. You put it out there. That's all you can
Yeah,
do.
but it cost me a year.
Yeah, but you
I could have been
still.
doing damage, Todd.
You gotta wonder your whole life. I wonder what would have happened if I would have approached her. What if she would have said yes? You can't. You have to go for it.
I know.
But for every story like that, there's some guy who dusts himself
Yes.
off. And
How many times do you see a celebrity, you go, oh, that's her husband? And you're thinking, like, Ariana Grande's new boyfriend just left his wife, and I'm going, who is this guy? Right? Did you think the same thing, Martin?
I said Kevin Garnett was right. Anything is possible. I said it is amazing.
Yeah, it just...
her boyfriend's like a normal guy?
No, he's an actor, but
He's a normal-looking guy.
Yeah, very normal-looking guy. What's his name, like Ethan Slater?
Holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I may be being punked here. Are we being punked?
You know, maybe he's charming. You know, I wish her nothing but happiness. While he left his wife and a child, I think.
That's
Yeah.
a unfortunately.
Yeah, nobody ever looks at that part of the relationship. They're like, oh, Ariana Grande, she's in love. What about the woman who lost her husband? Yes, Mark.
Somebody's got to be thinking, I know I was thinking this. Who in the hell do you think you are to leave your wife? Like,
The fact they had a wife is a
right.
No.
No
Yeah.
offense.
Yes. Yes.
What's worse, the guy or girl that's acts shy and says no one ever asked me out? I guess I intimidate people, or the guy or girl that's in amazing shape and says I don't work out. I just eat cheeseburger, pizza, eat whatever I want. I don't go to the gym. I don't count calories.
No, I don't care about that. That doesn't impact my life. If somebody says, no, I never work out. What impacts my life is when somebody says, nobody asked me out, then you ask them out, and then they say no.
You're almost over it.
Oh, my God.
Did you ask for an explanation, or you just kind of
No, I did not.
Why exactly do you not want to go out with me?
Well, no, what happened is I went through a third party, and this girl's nickname was the Body. Okay, so she was the Body before Elle McPherson was the Body, and before Heidi Klum. Other women called her the Body, and I took my shot. But then I thought, okay, I'll go through this cheerleader and just say, hey, you know what? I'd love to go out with her. And then she goes, you know what? It can't hurt to ask. That was the response, and I went, oh, that's not good. That's like, you got no shot. Can't hurt to ask, I wouldn't hold out any hope for this. And then she came back, and then she said, no, she's not interested.
I think you screwed up. I think she wanted the direct face-to-face. He's got the guts to do it. Hard to say no to your face. If I gave you a do-over, would you walk up to her, do a walk-up?
Oh, now I would. I'm a big deal.
There's nothing more dangerous
I
than a
don't know what
walk-up.
the Body looks like right now, but hello. She may walk up to me and go, hi, I used to be the Body, and you wanted to go out with me? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm married. Yes, Mark.
When somebody says, oh, what's the worst they could say? No? Like, no. What if they say, ew, are you crazy? Never. Like, that's hurtful.
No was the worst thing they could say. Crushed me. Yeah. That's when you have to do like a self-examination where you look at yourself and you say to your friend, your roommate, how do I look? Be honest with me.
You're a funny guy. You got a great sense of humor.
No. I did say that to my roommate. I said, Jeff, how do I look? He goes, what do you mean, hot? I said, kind of parched here, no girls. It's like, but it's not getting hot in here, if you know what I mean. Yes, Tim.
But do you want that fake confidence, like you're so money and you don't even know it?
Yes, yes.
Actually, the worst thing that she could probably say is,
Those guys always do well.
say you're a
Like,
believer and turn into straight darkness and then
walk
just
up.
consume
I got
your
a friend who
life.
can start a conversation, and he is always got a girlfriend, beautiful girlfriend. Always. I said, I could never do that. Not that I'm in the market, but when I was. Like, I didn't even ask my wife out. She asked me out. Like, I'm not going to say anything to her.
Okay, I see you.
Yeah.
I see you, DP.
That's why I'm called Daddy.
Got that on the record.
Yum.
Yes, I was too nervous. I'd be like, God, she'll crush my soul. And then she said, hey, we're going out. We're going to this this dance club called Danceteria. I go, okay, I'll go.
I love dancing.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, I love dancing. Yes.
That sounds like a swell time.
And then I got out on the dance floor, and I thought, oh my God, if she sees me dancing, she's going to go, oh no, this isn't good at all. But you know what? I kind of owned the dance floor, is what I did.
Just went for it.
I did. It had to be embarrassing, but you know what? Sometimes you go, man, that guy, he's dancing in the dark. That's the way I was doing it. Yes, Mark.
Danceteria's got a Wikipedia page.
I went to Danceteria, and Madonna was there.
Holiday.
Yes. Danceteria, a place called Area. That was the most bizarre place, and this is in the 80s in New York. You go to the club, I call it the club, and there were two models who were in a big picture window, and they had their hair braided, and they were intertwined, their hair, and they stood there stationary the entire night. And I go, I'm a kid from a small town in Ohio. I'm going, what the?
A whole new world for you there.
What is going on there? Yes, Naomi Campbell. Would see her. Like, yeah, it was you were out in the limelight. Limelight was a big thing, big deal. The clubs. Yeah. Yes, Mark.
New York City also looked terrible in the 80s. Every time I see that, I'm like, ew.
You did.
Times Square before it became Disney World?
Yeah.
Ew.
I'm going to argue with that one. It had more real feel to it. It wasn't Bed Bath & Beyond every 2 blocks. It wasn't a Pottery Barn every 3 blocks.
Giuliani had not cleaned up Times Square.
Yeah, the seediness was kind of cool, though. I first got there in the late 80s, and...
Like, you could walk down the meatpacking district. Like, you never went
Sure.
there unless you were looking for some friendship for an hour. Yes, see.
I interviewed this guy. His name's Hanson Dick. And he had a place called Manitoba's. It was a bar in the Lower East Side that was like real famous.
Yeah.
And I had made the comment to him like, man, things aren't the same as like what they used to be in the city, right? And he was like, you know what? Let me tell you something about people your age. And he was like, well, you think that the 90s were more real, and then the people who were there in the 80s think that that was more real? You know what was really real? The 70s in New York City. It was a hellhole. It was a horrible place to be. And like, this is way better. I would take this over the 70s any day.
Well, you look at some of these places that have gentrified. And I remember Christopher Street, Meatpacking District. Like, there's certain areas, Lower East Side.
Yeah.
No way. No way. But, you know, I did get on the subway, and then, you know, my wife, who's a New Yorker, she's like, nothing's going to happen to you on the subway. First night on the subway. First night. Coming back from the club. This woman takes off all of her clothes, and she's hammered, and she's staring right at me. And my wife said, girlfriend at the time, don't look back. Don't look back. And this woman was in my face with no clothes on. And it's like 2 in the morning. And I went, okay, you don't see this too many times in Little Mason, Ohio. Yeah, Paul.
I lived in Manhattan in 95 to 2000. I remember in 97, I moved out to Brooklyn because it was cheaper, it was more affordable. And I remember telling my friends, yeah, I'm moving out to Brooklyn. I go, ooh, oh, things aren't going so well. Like, because you couldn't afford to live in Manhattan.
Yes, but
And it's
now
not
Brooklyn, yeah. Queens, Brooklyn, yeah, good luck trying to find some, you know, real estate for a decent price. Yes, Tom.
That's when you got to joke about the awkwardness of the situation. Say, yo, watch your closing doors or something. You got to come up with some kind of...
Thank you. All right, we'll take a break. Peter
Come
Schrager,
on.
on from NFL Network, will join us after this on the Dan Patrick Show. Oh, TireRack.com.
What are you, though? If it was my show, but would I get any viewers? Probably no. Because if you look here, then the numbers, do they actually tell the truth? What if the numbers are just a feeling? Do feelings themselves lie? Well, maybe not, but is feeling bad itself actually the plan of the world? Then are you in the center of the ball or the center of the plan? And if you reside on the edges of this great plane, then is the feeling itself all the same? So then maybe if you feel bad, it's like you are the ball. But like I said, unless you're in the center, it's going to feel like every move is a fall. And if you were in the center of the ball, you might then say you can do whatever. all according to plan. Then how would you know if you didn't jump off the edge of the plan to say that it actually feels the same as being on the outer limits of the ball on the plane? Would you have to believe, or is this argument plain enough for you to then see that if you jumped, you would be free? Is it the end, or is it just another plan? Another plane, you see? Like, I can tell you this with pure logic, but when you get there, what would you do? So then, being at the edge of the sphere, saying that you see the plan, know the game that's here, rather than being on the sidelines. Would it take just as much courage to then take the ball to every referee? if they say that this is the only ball that you can see, and then I could say that, well, there's actually the end of the plan all the same. But if I was to tell you that the only real ball that ever appears is when there are no rules to play, then can you actually really hurt anything anyway? If the ball you see that day is actually fake, according to this, I say, if that actually is true, is it then as true as jumping off the edge of a plane into another plane? Then realness itself is going to change. How much could you actually do this and stay on the field and scale up realness in terms of how you played the game? If, according to a feeling, and the numbers don't lie, then it's all the same. Could you remember yourself? Keep your number in doing this? Maybe that's the game. Maybe I've just created some quadratic equation. You could do that, but then you could do this, but then you could lose everything and do that.
It's like, all right, he got him going, and he's like, you know what? Hell, I'm going to stick up for my guy. And that's when he said, keep my coaches out of your mouth. And that was the quote of the weekend. And we had more of an interview after that. But after the fact, I was like, all right. Roger said, thank you. We don't text. I don't have a relationship with Rogers like that. We've always been respectful, whatever. But that's how it came to be. And he couldn't have been more gracious with his time. And I think if it wasn't me, it would have been at the podium, and it would have been with you, or it would have been with anyone else. But I just happened to get him at the right place, right time. And he wanted to get that message out there.
He said that he is planning on playing a few more years. And then we discussed, what does a few mean? Few is more than two. And then I asked Peter King, I said, I'll give you the over under 2.5 years. He took the over. What's your thought on Aaron Rodgers in New York? Over under 2.5.
I would take the over as well.
Oh.
I think he's really happy, and I think that's so trite. Like Russell Wilson was really happy in Denver at this time last year. Like I know he's really happy, and Stafford was the same way, and Brady was the same way. You get to these new locations, and it's this new chapter in your life. But I think he's really connected with these folks, and it's not just, hey, new coach. Hackett's his boy. Like when they went out to Malibu, the Jets for that, the entire front office and the coach. He and Hackett were like the connection, and then Hackett and Saleh and the president and the owners, that was all, but like it was Hackett and Rodgers. And you bring in Lazard, you bring in Billy Turner, you bring in Randall Cobb. The Jets have gone above and beyond to bring in his people. He's going to be running his offense, and I think he's really digging living in the New York market. So I'm going to say over. Giving back that money almost guarantees 2 years, and I think if he's having fun, he's in great physical shape, and I don't think he's in a rush to do anything else. I think we'll be over on that one.
Can they match the hype this year?
It's hard. It's really hard. And the NFL did them no favors. I work on the NFL Network. We do Good Morning Football, and we start every A block with Jets talk. And I think a lot of the viewers are now chiming in like, is this the new Cowboys? What are we doing here? Like we're talking about a team that lost their last 6 games last year. They're getting hard knocks, so there's going to be a lot of that. They're in the Hall of Fame game tonight. They're in an inter-squad practice with Carolina, which is going to get a lot of press because they're on the road as a team, and we always talk about that stuff. And they have 5 primetime games. Can they match the hype? They think they can. And, I haven't made my predictions yet, but they looked darn good when I was at practice on Sunday. And like I said, it's not Brady going in and meeting Bruce Arians for the first time and then having to build an offense. He's picking up the offense that he ran when he had 2 MVP awards in Green Bay.
But I still look at this division, Peter, and I think you have to win the division. And that's the only team that's going to make the playoffs out of the AFC East.
That right.
Because look how tough the division is. And then you're going to play AFC West and the NFC East. That's tough. I mean, 11 wins might be enough to win that division, it feels like. And who do you like more, the Jets or the Bills right now?
Yeah, right now I'd say the Buffalo Bills, and they've earned that. And I think last year the Buffalo Bills, if you had an energy bar, it was at the very end, at the end of that season when they lost Cincinnati, they had nothing left, just mentally, emotionally, physically, after what they've been through that season. And this year they're laying under the radar quite a bit. But I'd go the Bills, but not by a huge margin. And I don't think the Dolphins or the Patriots are necessarily above the Jets right now. So they're second in my book, and I don't think they're that far off from first. So it's a possibility. We did this exercise on Good Morning Football, and I think it'd be fun for you and the guys. Everyone says this team's playoff now. The AFC this year, try picking 7 teams. You're leaving off 5 really good quarterbacks if you do it. The AFC is loaded.
I know.
So if you're going with multiple teams named, you're probably saying Herbert might not be going, or Jimmy Garoppolo's not going, or you're not getting a 3rd team out of the AFC North. You're only getting 2. So I hear what you're saying, but I think the Jets and the Bills are both playoff teams this year.
Peter Schrager, NFL Network Good Morning Football co-host. We've talked about this with the Cleveland Browns. I don't know if the networks can say, we don't want them in prime time. And if we do, we don't want to be showcasing Deshaun Watson. I don't know if anybody's done this. They are a good team. I don't know if they're potential for a great team or a playoff team, but they're a good team. But I wonder about that. Could like NBC say, we don't want the Browns on Sunday Night Football? Could they do that?
I think the networks put in their choices that they do want and their preferences, and they've got many meetings with the league before the schedule is made. I doubt any of them are banging down the door saying, give us the Browns.
But they didn't even have Deshaun Watson on the promo tonight on NBC.
It's Myles Garrett. We did it today on our show. It's Myles Garrett's face and Nick Chubb's face.
Yeah.
It's delicate, right? I think if we're being honest, it's a delicate situation on how to handle it. Last year, we did it on eggshells on our show because he comes back into the, and I say fortunately, but what if he was outstanding and took his team to the playoffs, went to the Super Bowl? It's hard not to shed praise on it, and then you've had to step off the field. So I think this year, after a full off season, and Watson has spoken to reporters, and I think they're going to be on tonight, and he's not going to play. It's going to be Kellen Mond and the young rookie from UCLA. So I don't know how much conversation they have on Deshaun Watson, but it'll be interesting to see if the Browns are good this year and how much real estate they still get on these shows, because it's, quite frankly, it's always going to be a difficult conversation talking about the Deshaun Watson stuff when you're saying, well, strictly on the field, when half the audience is like, yeah, but you guys are purposely not addressing me off the field. It's very uncomfortable.
Why is everybody loading up on the Justin Fields MVP bandwagon? Because if you're saying he's going to be the MVP, then you're saying the Bears are going to make the playoffs. Because if they don't make the playoffs, he's not going to be an MVP candidate.
A lot of hype, a lot of buzz on the Bears. And I think there's optimism because they finally have a receiver. And I don't know if you consider DJ Moore, or Calvin Johnson, or Randy Moss, or Justin Jefferson, or Jamar Chase, but he is
For the Bears, he is.
he is a 1,000-yard, year in, year out receiver, and their connection has been really good this summer. But to your point, the Bears lost their last 10 games of the season last year. David Montgomery was their bell cow. He's not there. They have a bunch of question marks at running back. And I know it's cool to say, well, yeah, but DJ Moore and Mooney and Tunyon and Komet, like, I gotta wait and see before we crown the Bears and Justin Fields. He's got a lot of fans around the league, and apparently his throwing motion has changed a bit, and he's worked on it this summer. I think it's fair to say, I know he's a great athletic quarterback. I'd like to see him win some games with his arm, and I'd like to see the Bears win some games in September and October before we start talking MVP talk.
Yeah, I don't want him rushing for 1,100 yards. If you said Justin Fields ran for 1,100 yards, I'd go, and the Bears won 5 games? I want him.
I don't want either.
I like the element of being able to run. I think you have to be able to run now. I think 90% of your quarterbacks have that ability to be able to run, but I don't want them to be. I don't want a run-first quarterback. Even Lamar Jackson. I mean, what did they do? They went out and got a new offensive coordinator and a bunch of wide receivers for it. And they changed their philosophy a little bit.
Yeah, and the thing with Fields, it's like, on a best-case scenario, and they're not similar players necessarily, but like Jalen Hurts in year 3 was like, all right, it's all coming together. But Jalen Hurts has maybe the best offensive line in football. He's got A.J. Brown. He's got Devontae Smith. He's got this amazing defense. Like, the Bears are a rebuilding team, so I'm just saying be patient. I think they'll be better than they were last year. I don't think they're the worst team in the league by any means. But I'm going to wait and see before we put him in the same conversation as some of his contemporaries who have actually done it on the field already.
All right, before I let you go, Arizona with Kyler Murray. Arizona's got 2 first-round picks, and they're going to be bad. If they're so bad that they get the number 1 overall pick, what do the Arizona Cardinals do?
They've got to consider it. I mean, this kid out of USC, and the ironic part is, who's going to be in his ear all season is going to be Cliff Kingsbury, who's working with Lincoln Riley. And I talked to Cliff, he's already working with this Caleb, and he's like, this kid is unbelievable and a great young man. All of a sudden he's raving about it, and I'm like, I think whoever gets the number 1 overall pick is going to get a Heisman Trophy winner from last year and maybe a Heisman Trophy winner from this year, who is being compared to Mahomes. He's that good. You have to think long and hard if you're looking at Kyler Murray and you're saying, well, we're now in year number this. We were the worst team in football. You'd have to think long and hard about it because I don't think Caleb Wilson comes along all that often. Wilson.
Yeah,
I just want to.
Williams. You got Zach Wilson on your mind.
I'm the same guy that would make fun of someone who does that, so I got to call myself out on that.
Yeah,
I got the Heisman Trophy winner's last name wrong. My bad.
You got to take Caleb Williams. You do.
I think you do.
But you got to be able to get out from underneath Kyler Murray's contract.
You deal with that. The quarterback's what matters. You figure it out. And from all the things I hear, also from Arizona, and again, it's everyone's Pollyanna now. Kyler's been great this summer.
Of course he has.
I know he can't play right away, but it's August. Kyler's great.
Yeah. He's always great during the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then things start to emerge where they go, he doesn't like to study. He loves video games. I'm drawing a line in the sand. I want a new But you are.
Thanks.
I've enjoyed the re-air of Good Morning Football because you're on opposite us. So I get to see the re-air of Good Morning Football, and hope you're having fun.
I love you guys. I always listen and tune in, and I appreciate you having me on. It's always so cool for me.
You didn't have to do the mutual admiration.
I thought it was fine.
You could have led with that.
I ended it.
You could have led with that and said, hey, before we go, man, I love your show. I do. And when you walk away in 4.5 years, I'll probably, have a moment of silence.
My contracts aren't in the news, Dan. Yours are. I appreciate that, man. That is good.
Thank you, Peter. Peter Schrager. He's a co-host and NFL Network Good Morning Football. It's like Fritzy. I always have to say...
I knew you were going to do this.
But Doesn't it happen?
You're right. I should initiate more like, hey, good job with the show or the interview you did or whatever.
I walk by you at the end of the show, and I'll go, hey, great job today.
And then I feel
And
compelled
then
to say
you go,
too.
hey, you too.
Which means nothing to you because it's just I'm just saying back to you what you just said.
Yes.
Because I didn't say it first.
I mean, I don't need it, but then I want it.
You definitely don't need it. I need it badly. So at least you acknowledge that much. So you should need to say, hey, good job with getting so-and-so on or whatever.
When you have a good day, I'm going to do it, okay?
And I have to make more of an effort to get to you before you get to me. Because again, it's meaningless if I'm just
Once again,
reiterating what
if
you
you
said.
have a good day, then I'm going to say
It could take a while.
Good show.
But be
Exactly.
patient with me.
All right. There you go. You missed that one. You missed it. How about we take a break?
Bloop, bloop.
All right. Yeah. Take a break. Back after this. Oh, join the Traeger.